What is going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. This is a big one. We are doing Mark 42 quarter scale from Hot Toys. This is the reissue version, the deluxe version, so to speak. Is there even a non-deluxe version of version 2? I don't know. But you can see right here the packaging. It's massive. As you know, I have a love-hate relationship with quarter scale. I adore them. I think they're beautiful. They're great displays. Then one day I'll wake up, I want to sell them all because I'm running out of space. But overall, I love them. I love the way it looks. I love the way it displays. I hate keeping the boxes though. As you can see, this is a massive box. And you can see from this unboxing, you see my entire desk because it doesn't fit. For somebody like myself who I know I don't have a lot of space at home. I have way too many collectibles, but I can't help it, especially now that it's on sale for $4.55 at Big Bad. So this is where I bought it from. I didn't want to pull the trigger. So this is the thing with quarter scale. They're beautiful, but they're also expensive. But when the price comes down to something like $4.55, where it's practically the same price as a 1/6 Iron Man, or even some in-art figures that are more expensive than him, I kind of like, I'm weak. I can't fight it again. But let's just enjoy this unboxing / review, and maybe you could decide for yourself if this is something that you might want to take a look into. Now, quarter scale Mark 42. A little, I guess, going back to history, there's a 1/6 scale Mark 42 back in the day. Not the best looking figure out there. I had that before, sold it. It's one of their first attempts to, die cast. Fast forward to an upcoming version 2 of the die cast 1/6 scale. That looks a lot more improved, a lot better than the previous iteration. And then at the same time, there was a quarter scale Mark 42 back in the past, and this has been sitting on the shelves. Quarter scale is not a big mover for Hot Toys. They're just not. They take up a lot of space, and for the most part, they're expensive. I think this retailed for around $650, although it is shocking initially for somebody who just buys one Hot Toys, for example. In my case, I buy 1 or 2 a month. Spending $650, you're thinking, man, that could be 2 1/6 scale. But it's different when it's quarter scale. It's just the effect that you're gonna get. The scale, it's massive. The proportions. If you haven't had any quarter scale Hot Toys, do yourself a favor and get the cheapest one. Just to experience it, just to see if it's for you. The cheapest one that you can afford. Because whatever that is, I'm sure you'll love it. And now, whether you love it or not, doesn't mean you should get it. But at least you get the taste of it. You get the, I was like, okay, should I move forward with this or leave it alone? You can see the accessories here. Much better, I would say, than the 1/6 scale counterpart. Now, I'm not including the version 2 counterpart of this because that's a different story right there. You can see it does have the flash grenade, and it has this open state, which we didn't see. I don't know, did we see that? I haven't seen Iron Man 3 in a while. But the swap out parts, the die cast, not the die cast, the battle damage version of this looks pretty good. And this is the missile that attaches into his shoulders. Then you just kind of peg it in. It looks beautiful. Detail wise, there's nothing that can beat quarter scale Hot Toys, in my opinion. Even statues, the details that you're gonna get from 1/6 just blow them up, and that's what quarter scale is. And I would say for whatever reason, the proportion is so much better on the quarter scale. The impact, obviously, because it's bigger, has more shelf presence. Even the hands, you hold the hands, it's premium. You see all those scratches out there. It's more noticeable compared to 1/6. Obviously, you got a bigger canvas to showcase all these details, and you got the open state of this missile on his forearm, which is also magnetic. Most of these parts, the battle damage parts, are, well, all of them are magnetic except for the one on his shoulders. I wish that you would only change the silver part, and that's the magnetic part. But no, it's ball joint that you kind of have to attach. This one, it's pretty cool that the missile can be removed. This guy right here is the only one that is not magnetic, but you can see here the battle damage on each piece is not identical. So it has its own, it shouldn't be, but it's beautiful that it's done this way. If we're going back in the past, it's probably going to be the same damage. Also in the forearms, you have different types of damages here, which really adds to the aesthetics of the figure. This one right here, you can even see like the grills and all that stuff. You see that mesh in the corner. I'm more of a battle damage guy. It feels more authentic. It feels, I don't know, it just feels right. That it's not super pristine, it's not super clean. Also the head sculpt here, I'm pretty sure this is the same head sculpt for the 1/6. The eyes are looking off to the side a little bit, and the blood, but because it's blown up, I don't know, it just feels better. So it comes with two head sculpts, one with a face plate on it, and one is the light up head sculpt. Now the deluxe version comes with, again, I don't think there's not a non-deluxe version for this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong here. I'm not too familiar with quarter scale. This is my third one. It's kind of wide and it's tall, so make sure before you purchase this that you do have the space, because this base is phenomenal. It looks great. You can see here there's wires. There's some assembly required on this base, although it's not too difficult. The instruction doesn't necessarily mean, it doesn't say where you should or where to insert, so you have to refer to pictures you see on the bottom end there. I don't think there's a wrong answer for this. You can just go however your heart desires on this one, so it is totally up to you. It looks good. It does light up. It takes 3 AAA batteries, but when it does, you see this arc reactor. This is where Iron Man is gonna stand, and then the 3 is just blasted with light, and it is beautiful, I would say. And then the hole in the middle, that's where you're gonna put the transparent pole, which is gonna hold Iron Man. And then the kind of like the lip on the front, I just inserted one of his head sculpts so I don't have to, keep it. But it is beautiful. I wish this was USB-C so I can keep it on for a while. I don't have any, it's battery, it's fine. The armor for this is, again, 42. I love the design. A lot of people didn't. We call it the spaghetti armor back in the day. You got some scratches, visible scratches as well, micro scratches, which is good, because if you happen to scratch this figure accidentally, it would just blend in. And in my opinion, like I said, this is how I'm gonna display him, with the battle damage pieces. I just love the look of this battle. Look at that on his biceps. It's torn. You can see the inner workings of his suit. This is before nanotech, so it's still, I forgot what it's called, but it's like on his blood. He can call his armor. It just goes to him, the prodigal son. It is beautiful. I don't know, there's something about Mark 42 that's so unique for me. It's sort of, it's in the same breath, at least for me, as Mark 5. It's not the traditional, red and then a little bit of gold. It's mostly gold / yellow with a little bit of red. So I just like the concept of this. I like this more than Mark 43. But you can see here, like, there's scorch marks in there, just burnt out. And then you can move these panels as well. You can move the panels on his feet, and he can stand up pretty well on his own. He can balance, I would say, considering the fact that he is massive, So I gotta give it to the folks at Hot Toys for making this happen, because it is an impressive piece of art. On the back, you could move it as well. Compared to the old 42, there are pieces on his calves that you could panel-wise move. I like the line work overall in this figure. And then this is an old school method on his butt. There is a button that you press that it would release the crotch area, and you would know when it's released. That is when you can extend the legs, not the traditional. If you started collecting recently, you know that you just pull the legs down. It'll just kind of go down. Not in here. I mean, you could do that, but not completely off. That's how you put it in. And then here on the back, again, it's not a shiny paint, but it has enough gloss to it that I feel like you're not going to damage the paint, but it doesn't give you that, brand new car look, that cherry red. I love this battle damage pieces. It's just, and it shows the inner side of his armor. I don't know, there's just something about 42. I'm gonna get the 1/6 version of this as well, but now I feel like I don't have to. And this is the like an integral part, the inner workings of, you can see wires that is on his right bicep. Now also there's a lot of details in his chest as well. As you know, you could remove the arc reactor and replace it with a white translucent. I don't want to do that, but I like the option that you could. You see here, there's a lot of nice pistons and details. I love how this battle damage looks. That it's just exposing the forearm that is already in there.
Okay, so put it on the circle.
It's beautiful. Let's talk about the head sculpt. So now I have the battle damage faceplate on, which in my opinion gives a lot of attitude to the figure. It looks just like he got into a fight, and I love that. There's some faceplates that are not heavily damaged. This is rough. Like Mark 42 had it rough, and he did in the movie. I wish this armor had more redemption to it though, because it was kind of, especially at the end when we thought he was making his big comeback, we never kind of got it. It was used to protect Pepper, if I remember it correctly. But I know in the end, when he was like the prodigal son's return, it just kind of crashed. So I wish it had more of a redemption to it. But nonetheless, as an Iron Man collector, if there's one armor that it would represent my collection, this or Mark IV. It's just from an Iron Man standpoint collector, I have so many Iron Man that kind of looks like Mark IV. Unlike Mark 42, where it just stands out. And look at that head sculpt right there, the eye color. It's just different when it's bigger. And look at the inner details. You can appreciate it more than the 1/6 version. But look at that details. Look at his eyes, like the color of the eyes. It is just fantastic. Now you could, put it up there, but now you can't see, the full details of his face, which is still nice. And the blood on his cheek as well. Now you can replace it with a more less damaged. It has scratches on it, and that's there on purpose. But you see the difference right there. This is the other head sculpt without the faceplate on. Just light up on the eyes. The other one, you can't even see his eyes. But you could interchange the faceplate if you are not familiar. If you're asking, yes, you could go ahead and do that. But at least you have the option to display both. In whatever your mood depends on that day. If you want to go battle damaged, you could. You want to go battle damage with light up eyes, you could as well. You want to put it up and showcase his beautiful face, you could do that as well. All in its quarter scale glory. Articulation wise, it has a good range of motion for somebody that's quarter scale. You could have him looking up. There's two joints in here, one from the neck to the one head to the neck, and then the neck to the body. And this is ratcheted, so you could lift it up. You could probably lift it more, but you got to make some adjustments on his shoulder armor, which again, it is via ball joint. So, you know, I don't want to go crazy on quarter scale. I don't want to I'm not going to display him in a crazy pose anyway, because they are already, you know, just an attention grabber on its own. So I don't need to, you know, do some crazy poses, because like I said, it's massive. It's a massive piece. And you hold them in your hand. There's some cold materials in here, like on the legs. It feels like some of them are die cast, even though they don't feel heavy, if that makes sense. Maybe it's just, that's when you press the button, that's how you release the leg, by the way. But yeah, just the overall feel on how you would move this guy. You would think that some parts of it is die cast. And look at it, this protrudes up, double jointed on the knee. So if you really want to, you could. I'm not good at posing quarter scale. I don't know, there's an element of fear when it comes to it. A, it's more expensive. B, it just feels more, the bigger the figure is, it feels a lot more that's at stake, if you want to call it that. Like, it's more expensive. Therefore, I'm not too keen on displaying them the way I guess I would want to. But, you know, it's up to you. It's to your discretion. You could open these guys up if you want, and that would work too. See that? That's on this side. If you want to display him kind of like, hey, you know, he's ready to fight, or I don't know, are those brake flaps or something? I don't really know, but they're cool. They're cool. Like, you just gotta understand or study where the joints are. So when you open them up, because some of them just kind of springs out of the figure itself, to make sure that you are not breaking anything. You don't. The last thing you want to do is break a $650, you know, figure. So this is magnetic. I love when it's magnetic, especially at this size, because it's so easy. It's so convenient to just, if you feel like, just outside of the shoulder pads, if you just feel like, hey, you know what, I want to do non-battle damage today, so you can go ahead and do that without, you know, thinking that you're gonna break tabs and whatnot. Poses, you can see here, quarter scale in a superhero landing pose, and it didn't take much, you know, to achieve this kind of pose. Anyone who has done this, knows that it only looks good at a certain angle, you know. But you can see from his crotch right there that you have to release that part to achieve this look. This is not ideal for the base that it comes with, because you're not going to accommodate the footprint. However, if you want to, I'm just saying, you could, you know, kind of made him bare chest here as well. I don't know, this figure is so much fun. It's fun. So this is him alongside the supplied base that he does have. This is, I would say, it's a bit limiting on how big the base is. You could remove the arc reactor and just use the base underneath it. Now you'll have a wider stance that you could do, but at the same time, I feel bad leaving out this beautiful diorama base that lights up. So again, if I'm keen on posing this guy, you can see the blue lights on his shin. It's like, it's beautiful. But yeah, if I want to satisfy my cravings for posing, I'd go 1/6. He's more of a stand there, hold this battery, which is, you know, and look cool. That is all I'm asking for this quarter scale figure. And that's what he's going to do. Most of my quarter scale does this, you know, like the museum pose. I'm not going to lie, most of my figures are in the museum pose. I only bust out, the poses and all that stuff when I'm maybe reviewing or taking pictures, taking a video for my YouTube shorts, and then I put it back. A wide dynamic pose requires a lot of space as well, so my figures are already packed up as it is. So I don't want to make my space smaller than it already is. But here he is. This is mostly what he's gonna look like in my collection, if not just doing the repulsor blast. Size comparison wise, Carnage is a big boy, but even at that, he is still shorter than this quarter scale Iron Man. And the one on all the way to the right is the Mark 6 2.0. And as you can see, even at that, like a regular 1/6 would just shrink in comparison. But it doesn't mean that they lost details. Like the 1/6 is still very detailed. It's just easier to appreciate them on a quarter scale, because display wise, if you have visitors coming over, they would gravitate more to the bigger piece, which is the quarter scale, because it's just catchy to the eye. It was like, my goodness, what is this? They would expect a toy like maybe a quarter scale NECA for example, which is still a pretty good figure, but not compared to what this could offer. And by that, look at the size. This is our both quarter scale, by the way. Spider-Man quarter scale, but he's shorter than Mark 42. Of course, that is expected, but just to show you the size difference here, both quarter scale. I love them. I am now holding off, hoping that on Big Bad that the quarter scale Batman would go on sale, the Dark Knight, because that is something on my radar as well. I know it's on sale right now at Sideshow for $4.55. The deluxe, I think, is already sold out, but still holding off. Love my Big Bad. But there you go. Mark 42 quarter scale version. Beautiful figure. Highly recommended if you have the space and the budget to accommodate it. If you don't have any quarter scale, like I said earlier, do yourself a favor and just try to get one. Your life would change. As a matter of fact, and it might sound silly, you might save more money if you collect quarter scale, because there's not a whole lot of quarter scale that comes out. So your options are going to be limited. Maybe you wouldn't be forced to buy. You're going to miss out on a lot of better figures if you do that. Like Bane doesn't have quarter scale. However, if just this, if the scale is more attractive to you and, your space can accommodate it, and if you don't want to buy figures every month, every 2 months or so, they come in far few in between this quarter scale. So you might save money this way. Like I'm just going to collect quarter scale. So whatever comes out, maybe I'll buy it. Yes, it is more expensive, but if you don't dabble into 1/6, you'll probably save more by not buying 1/6. But with that being said, I don't recommend that. Enjoy 1/6. I'm more of a 1/6 collector who dabbles into quarter scale when they go on sale. So do as you wish. Either you just look at this from afar or you buy one. I would say if you are worried about, the quality, it's good. No need to be worried about that. If you're worried about space, that is a valid argument of not picking up a quarter scale. But this particular figure, amazing. Can't recommend it enough. Base is beautiful, articulated, so many options. Highly recommend it. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.